Hello and welcome to our review of Mission Impossible Fallout, the latest Mission Impossible movie in the series. I really wanted to do a little kind of series of us talking about the other 5 movies because we just rewatched the whole franchise over the past 2 weeks, but it was just too hot to make any kind of video. So very briefly, I just want to rattle through my thoughts on revisiting the first one. Loved it as a kid. It was great to go back to it. Didn't quite hold up as well as it was when I was a kid, but still a really good film, and I enjoy it a lot, and it's interesting to see him that young compared to the rest of the series. Mission Impossible 2, there's some fun moments. I loved it when I was a teenager, but it really hasn't held up as well. It really drags more than any of the other films, but there's still some good moments, but a bit over the top and stuff like that. Mission Impossible 3, I'd seen once before and remembered nothing about it, so I've always had a really low opinion of it. But seeing it now, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I thought Philip Seymour Hoffman was a fantastic villain who really is in the film far too little. I think that it would have been great if he'd been in it more because he's so intense.
Professor Moody, right?
No. No. He was in the second one. I'm talking about the guy in Mission Impossible 3 who shoots the girl at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, yeah. You should have killed me. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So I thought Mission Impossible 3 was really good, revisiting it. The fourth one, Ghost Protocol, I think this is when the series really starts to get into its groove and really settles into what makes it, I think, one of the best action franchises ever. Just everything starts clicking into place. Great action film, just great set pieces and... really entered, like him climbing up the buildings, great and all that, but also the special agent stuff, the kind of deceiving people is all really well done.
I love the beginning of it as well, the breakout.
Yeah,
it's so great.
It's
I love the desert scene,
the sandstorm,
the skyscraper
part,
the Russian part, the mask.
Yes, the Russian part.
Simon Pegg is so funny.
Yeah, he really came into his own in the fourth one, I think. Yeah. But he's there in the third one, but...
just slightly.
Yeah.
It's like a little introduction.
Yeah, good
kind
point.
Of like, here's this guy, you're going to see a lot more of this guy.
Yeah. And then we have Rogue Nation, which when I saw it a few years ago, I thought that's one of the best action films the past 20 years easily. I just think it's and rewatching it, brilliant. I think the villain is so good because Solomon Lane, because he's really soft-spoken, he's menacing without really trying to be menacing, and it's really well done and different. But also the storyline is great. You got the opera scene, which is so well done. It's just brilliant. Ilsa is a great character, and then the underwater...
Is she actually Swedish?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, I didn't look that up.
Because her Swedish is very good.
I think she is Swedish, yeah. The underwater scene, really tense and everything like that, and then what was the kind of the ending? I love how the ending, they trap the villain in a box, spoilers, and they don't kill him because it's a different kind of ending. It's not like, we kill him at the end, and just that kind of satisfaction of him being trapped there and all the members of the team were just stood around him is so satisfying. So I think Rogue Nation's awesome. This built up very nicely to Fallout because Fallout to me felt very much like Rogue Nation Part 2. Very direct from Rogue Nation. And I think even Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation and Fallout form a really nice trilogy.
Yeah.
They feel really fluidly linked to each other. And they're all great action movies. So Fallout, we saw it yesterday. Awesome. Thanks for watching. And what can you say, really? It's as great as everyone is saying. I think it's been received really well. Most people have really enjoyed it. It's a fucking incredible action film. It has a little bit of everything. It has Tom Cruise jumping out of a plane for real. It has Tom Cruise jumping across a building and breaking his leg for real. Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't show the angle where you actually see the ankle snap.
Yeah, they showed it a lot in the trailers and stuff.
They showed a different... so maybe they were like, well, we have a different angle.
Yeah.
And when he climbs up, you can see him limping, and that's real. Like, he actually has a fractured... Is it ankle?
Fractured ankle,
yeah.
And it's
how
kind
he
of...
just pushes through. Like, I admire how he just wants to do so many of the stunts himself.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he actually climbs on that wire in the helicopter scene too.
Yes, he does. Yes.
And because it was in the outro.
And he did most of the helicopter flying himself as well, apparently.
Well, except for going down in the valley.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
That wouldn't be possible. I'm sure he flew.
Yeah.
He's so stubborn.
You can really tell, and there's like these shots where the camera's mounted on the kind of the helicopter shield. You can really see he's sat in there flying that thing on his own, it really makes it more exciting.
There's an interrogation scene with this famous Norwegian actor as well.
That was a great scene. I was
really happy that he made it into this movie. I mean, there's a different Norwegian actor that's been in quite a few action movies, sci-fi movies right now.
Axel
Hennie.
Yeah.
But this guy, I can't remember his name right now, but
I thought he was really good. Like, really memorable in this very short scene.
It makes me actually want to show you some of the movies that he's in, because he's pretty good. But you struggle with seeing good acting when it's in a different language, so I don't know if you could see it then.
I could in this.
But he just looks like such a great villain.
Wait, was he in The Wave?
Yes.
Was he the main character?
I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, because I recognised him from something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was
but
great.
It's just something about his look. Like, when you see him, it's like, oh my god, he's a great, like, villain. He could have been, like, a great, crazy guy in Harry Potter as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you just picture him, like, instead of his godfather, Sirius instead of Sirius going, like, crazy like that. You can just picture him being like that. I'm just disappointed that there wasn't more, because I thought that the scene that they did in Norway with the cliff thingy,
was going to be set in Norway.
I thought it was going to be set in Norway, but it wasn't. It was set in Cambodia?
India.
Yeah. And obviously, whatever was going on in India, they couldn't have going on in Norway, because that would make sense, so I understand.
Yeah, it fit the plot better.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean,
do they have fjords in India?
But
honestly,
there's a really good story to it that again plays through everything that's happened in the past couple of movies as well. I do think one criticism would be every movie now, Ethan Hunt is either disavowed from the IMF, or he's framed, or he's set up, and it just happens in every movie, and it's just like...
Oh, Superman was great, wasn't he?
Henry Cavill, yes.
Henry what?
Cavill.
I didn't know
his name.
His name is Henry.
Yeah, Henry. Yeah, wow. And he was great. And I think that
it's kind of like an old man's name, isn't it?
Not really.
In Norway, it is.
Maybe in Norway, but it's a fairly common name in the UK.
Is it?
No.
Sorry.
He was great. He was great. A real like tank. You know, like the fight sequence.
The fighting scene in the toilet.
Yeah.
Come on. How good was that? It was
good.
So testosterone filled, and I almost went like, come on. When he took his jacket off and then he just went in like that, I was like, why can't Superman be badass like that? 'Cause he was badass in this movie. He was so like...
Yeah.
And I thought the sound mixing in that scene was very good. I kept focusing on the sounds when they were hitting and so on. It was really good.
That's because they dropped the music out, which was really good. But
Did they?
Yeah, there's no
That's
music.
That's why it worked so well. I was so into that fighting scene. It was amazing. The way they filmed it as well. It wasn't like a shaky camera, like what's going on.
No, you got
to see all of it. And I'm pretty sure some of them got a few hits in. For real. And the Chinese guy was really good. I thought Tom Cruise is always great.
The sound effects were the kind where it's kind of over the top, but it makes you feel every hit. It's just like just like proper hard hit and stuff.
It had some kind of like fullness to it, that scene. It was probably the most satisfying scene in the whole movie, I think.
Yeah, there's some great cinematography there, like when they skydive over Paris and like there's a shot of Ethan going to the edge of the plane and looking down, and the camera comes up and you just see like the clouds and the lightning. Awesome shot.
Oh, and the sound mix when the lightning struck.
Yeah.
When it went quiet, I heard people in the crowd go.
Yeah.
And I really felt that silence. It was a good crowd we were with, a good audience.
Thankfully, yes. Because we saw Skyscraper last week and the crowd was awful. Just teenage
had 2 kids
pricks
sitting right next to me, and I was just thinking, this
I was
is
worried.
Be horrible.
I was worried. They were like...
They were quiet the whole time.
Yeah.
I made more noise than them.
Yeah.
Going through my crisp bag. I was actually worried I was going to bug them. They were like 14 or something.
And there was some really funny moments too. I laughed quite a bit throughout the film, but never to the point where it felt like they were trying too hard to throw in jokes. It just felt naturally flowing out of the situations.
It's a nice little twist reveal, not twist, but like reveal of something in the middle of the movie-ish.
Well, I knew what the twist was going to be based on the trailers. I think the trailer gives away a bit too much of what certain characters are going to be.
But
I didn't know.
Okay,
but I didn't know.
In particular.
But I didn't know how it was going to happen. So the how.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
What made it better, I think, because I wasn't expecting it, and I thought it was really well done. I also love that Solomon Lane is not only back in the film, but has a significant role to play. In the trailers, it looked like he might just be in it for a few scenes, just to kind of link to the next part of the story. But he has a significant part to play, and so I really like that because I think he's a great villain and a really good actor.
He's the unobtainium of the movie, isn't he?
What? What do you mean?
Well, he's the main key to the whole movie.
Sure, yeah. I just unobtainium was an interesting reference. Okay.
People want him. People want to get rid of him.
Yeah, you got a good point. You gotta. I mean, it's. I'm sure in every review of this, anywhere in the world, people are saying you got to give Tom Cruise credit for doing the kind of stuff that he does when he's in his mid-50s. But you just have to say it because it really is impressive.
That guy can fucking run.
Yes, he can really run. There's some impressive running in the film.
He runs in every movie, though, but he's over 50, and he still runs the same way he did back in the 90s. Come on. He runs like... It's so fast, I feel like it's sped up. And he runs so fast, it looks like he's almost like hanging behind in the way. Every time he runs, I want to look at you like, Jesus.
So, I think that it's probably the best film in the series for me, just in terms of like how every action set piece flows into the next one, but it doesn't feel like it's trying too hard to keep it going. Like it brings you up and then it brings you down for important parts of the story, and then we slide right into something else, like the chase through Paris, the fight in the bathroom, the skydiving sequence. What was the opening scene? The opening scene was a dream sequence. But then there's like the stuff.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was really good. And I liked how that played into his kind of fears as well.
Kept thinking though, was that in Norway too?
It looked like it, didn't it? I think it was in New Zealand because they filmed.
New Zealand and Norway look very similar, don't they?
I know they filmed in New Zealand for certain scenes. I loved the kind of the ending. You know, it just really tense, and the final fight up on that kind of the cliff face in Norway was just really, really awesome. I got some Uncharted vibes from some of that stuff towards the end, and just brilliantly done, and lots of different. I like how all the other members of the team were a part of it, like Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg and Ilsa, who's back again.
Ilsa is badass.
She's great, but I like how they all had these important parts to play. So we're cutting back between all of those characters in the main ending of the film, and just made it really tense. I mean, you know that he's going to save the day. You know that it's not the world isn't going to get destroyed. But it's the how, isn't it? It's the how do we get there? What's the journey?
Yeah, but can I just say, like, the chemistry between the actors as well, you can't pick up on it. Like, just little things, like when he was hanging in the elevator and Superman's just looking at him. That's a spoiler, isn't it?
That's fair.
No, it's not. But yeah, it's just, I keep thinking back at certain scenes, and I'm just thinking, well, they seem like they click very well.
Yeah. I'd say that with the team as well, like the IMF team, like especially like
they know each other by now,
right? And I think back to Ghost Protocol actually, when they infiltrate the Kremlin, Tom Cruise and Simon Pegg. Like he was in the third one for a bit, but in Ghost Protocol he's properly a part of the film. And they're walking in, and he's like, "Oh, I've always wanted to kind of do this. You know, it's an honor to do this with you." And it really feels like breaking the fourth wall, where Simon Pegg's like saying it to Tom Cruise. I've always wanted to kind of properly be in a film deal like this. But then you really feel a bond between them throughout the past three films, I think.
Why wasn't Hawkeye in this one?
He wasn't in Avengers: Infinity War, and he wasn't in Mission Impossible Fallout, because he was busy making the next Avengers movie. So like, there's these two big sequels that
so he's coming back then?
He'll be in the next one, yeah. But yeah, that would have been nice if he'd been a part of it too, because he kind of was growing throughout the past two films and wasn't really explained at all where he was. So that kind of just is what it is, I suppose. Cinematography is great. There's some really great shots, in particular the one where the two helicopters are going off and Ethan's climbing up the rope, and you just see the two planes and like the kind of landscape in the distance, like just awesome, like great kind of big money shots in the film. My only other complaint would be the score. I thought the score was great, but there's a certain piece that recurs throughout that to me is just It's The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
It's The Dark Knight. Now, I have since read that the composer for this film works with Hans Zimmer regularly.
What's the name of the composer?
I forgot the guy's name, but I think he actually even worked with him on The Dark Knight before he became a fully fledged composer himself. So I can see now why that has bled over, but I still feel like it's The Dark Knight, isn't it? The ding 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 ding, which was used a lot, and it just felt like it was trying to be like The Dark Knight in terms of the...
And it sounds great.
It does, that's
like,
the thing.
I want to listen to the soundtrack because it sounds so awesome, but it sounds awesome because it sounded like Hans Zimmer.
Right, exactly.
I thought it was him who had composed it, which would be okay then.
It's tough because it's great and it really works, but part of me is like, but it's from another film, kind of, pretty much exactly.
Every time it came up and Superman was there, I was just thinking, Batman.
Exactly right. Yeah, you just draw those
He
comparisons.
was really good in it, though.
Yeah, he was great. He was a really good character.
See, don't bash Superman.
It turns out the mustache was worth it.
He looked good in a mustache and a beard.
He did. You know what he doesn't look good in? A mustache that's been painted over. Awful. Just never again. Alright, so anything else you want to add?
When I don't wear my glasses and I go to the cinema, I don't really see those kind of things. So I don't have a big problem with it. But whenever I'm going to be watching the movie again with my glasses on, if I ever do, I'm probably going to be seeing it.
But yeah, Mission Impossible Fallout, brilliant. I think the best of the series, but it isn't like... It's between this and Rogue Nation, and it really is very close. And Ghost Protocol...
the three last ones altogether
they're all great, but I think Fallout just about takes it, and it's the longest of the series, and it feels epic, and it feels suitably epic.
Didn't feel too long at all.
No, and I also love how it tied into Ethan's wife from the third film, which is in the trailers that she's in the movie. I love that has still been a part of all the films, apart from Rogue Nation, but I like that she wasn't just forgotten about like they tend to do in these series, and that she kind of was brought back in a way that made sense, and a way that I think really did that character and the whole storyline justice. It felt really well done and well written. I think
that will be the last we see of her too. Yeah,
probably. So I think it's a well done way to tie that up, perhaps. Yeah, that looks like you're saying she dies.
Or does she?
Or does she? Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't.
Maybe the ghost of her will appear in the next one.
Ghost Protocol 2. So I don't know if they're going to make another one. They probably are. They probably are going to make another one, but I mean, I don't know. It would be fine if they left it there, but of course I'm sure that Tom Cruise wants to go bigger and better, and so I'm sure that in a few years we'll start seeing those kind of leaked set photos of Tom Cruise flying out in space outside the International Space Station, where he's doing some sort of feat of unhuman bravery for the next one. They got to go to space next, right? I mean, that's the only logical. What else can he do?
Well, I'm sure he's thought about the one guy who was flown up really high, and he does that.
Oh my god! Yeah, he's probably gonna do that, isn't he?
He's like, well, someone jumped from kind of outer space. I'd like to do that, thank you.
Is it possible to do a spacewalk without the suit? How long would I have to hold my breath? I mean, I saw Star Wars. It must be possible, right? Right. So, Mission Impossible Fallout. Big thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
Awesome film, and I think that it's the best. The past 3 films have been the best consecutive run of action films ever, I think.
It's almost like it has to run out at some point.
Like, you have the James Bond films, there's great ones, there's not so great ones, it always goes up and down. You have Fast and the Furious, it always goes up and down. This one is just, it's really hit a crescendo at this point.
When I watched the trailer and the music with it, I listened to the music from the trailer over and over and over again after that. Even though my least favorite part of the trailer was that bathroom fighting scene. Huh. And then that ended up being one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, they're just fighting in time with the music, yeah. It's all this time with the music and the guns boom, boom, boom and stuff like that. Always. They do that in all trailers now.
Like the Suicide Squad trailer. Oh my god, it goes with Queen. Oh, and then the film.
Yeah, that just kickstarted this whole time with the music, guns, reload, gun,
Yeah.
Punch, punch, punch. But I just want to see that fighting scene again.
Great fight scene.
Very good.
And I would say that, calling these latest Mission Impossible films like some of the best action films ever, that's kind of, for me, I'm thinking of like guns and explosions action films. Because you look at like some of the martial arts films and they're just on a whole other level.
Yeah.
But then that fight scene it brings it fairly close. Not completely there to the best martial arts movies, but it has a really good hand-to-hand combat scene that,
because the filming was good with it too.
Yeah, that's true. But it
was very nicely composed.
But it's an element of the series that hasn't really been done before, I don't think. It's like a really good hand-to-hand. They had the one at the end of Mission Impossible 2, but that was a bit over the top and kind of... Anyway, so we're just rambling now, so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts down below on the film if you've seen it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
He's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.